Falcons fans, hold on to your seats, because what just happened on the field might shock you. The Atlanta Falcons are showing flashes of greatness, but also leaving us all with more questions than answers. A 34-27 win over the Washington Commanders has the city buzzing, and trust me, you're going to feel every single moment of this roller coaster. Let's break it down, play by play, heart by heart. I'm not going to lie to you, Dirty Birds fans. Right now, this team is a mystery. Honestly, I don't know exactly who these Falcons are. But here's the thing, maybe that's okay. Sometimes, the excitement comes from not knowing, from the unpredictability. And after Sunday's 34-27 win over the Washington Commanders, there's a lot to be excited about. Let's start with my first word, grateful. I am grateful this team came out with pride. Grateful they showed energy, focus, and determination. Grateful they had a game plan, and actually stuck to it. And most of all, grateful for Michael Penix Jr. and Bijan Robinson. These two carried this offense in ways that made you believe the Falcons are finally starting to find their spark. Looking at the big picture, the Falcons dominated in key areas. Time of possession? They controlled the ball for over 9 extra minutes. Third downs? They were sharper. First downs? Better. Total yards? Higher. They didn't just scrape by, they earned this win. But here's what's really interesting. For the first time all season, there was a clear and decisive way to win. They did it the classic way: control the clock, pound the rock with Bijan, make the defense bleed, then let Michael Penix Jr. work his magic. That's the identity we've been waiting for, the plan we've been hoping for. And it worked perfectly. But here's the catch: what exactly is the Falcons' offensive identity? Honestly, I still don't know. Right now, it's this guy, Bijan Robinson. He's the engine, the heart, the identity on the field. And for now, that's okay. Especially when you're playing backup quarterbacks like Washington threw at us. Games like this let you experiment, test different strategies, and give your young QB a chance to grow. Even though the game plan worked, I can't ignore the issues. The Falcons' play calling still raises big questions. Why? Because it's far too predictable. Even the CBS crew could call our plays before we ran them, and that's just not acceptable for an NFL team. Zach Robinson deserves credit for sticking to a plan and trusting his players, but 37 plays out of the pistol formation, not counting penalties, is way too repetitive. Here's a perfect example. Late in the game, it's 3rd and 1, driving down to crush Washington, and the Falcons line up in the pistol. Even CBS predicts it's a run up the middle, and guess what? They were right. The defense stopped it, and we had to punt. This wasn't a misread by a top defense, it was a team we should beat. That's how predictable our offense still feels. So yes, this Falcons team can win games. They can dominate, they can show flashes of brilliance. But we are not out of the woods yet. The offense still has work to do, and the play calling still needs to evolve if this team wants to compete with the league's best. Alright, Falcons fans, let's talk about the real story here, Michael Penix Jr. and how he handled the game under pressure. Yes, there were 3rd and short situations the Falcons just couldn't convert, especially out of the pistol formation. When Penix was in the shotgun or under center, it worked fine. The passing game out of the pistol? Limited. And yeah, there were a couple of plays where Penix didn't look comfortable in the pocket. Maybe 1 or 2. But here's the thing, that was it. Outside of those few moments, he looked confident, sharp, and in total command. You could tell there were plays where Penix wasn't thrilled with what was being called. But I'm not here to be negative, and I'm not going to slam Zach Robinson after this win. Why? Because Robinson committed to a smart, bold game plan, a bait and bomb strategy, and it worked brilliantly. Here's how it went. You feed the defense the run, over and over, pound the rock with Bijan, make them pay attention to the ground game, and then, boom, you unleash the big plays. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, the receivers were flying downfield, catching passes, making defenders look silly. Bijan Robinson? He's a machine. He just keeps dominating, game after game. But the biggest story here is Michael Penix Jr. This is the performance that silences the doubters. Every person who said he's not the guy yet needs to see this. Yes, he had one rough game before, but Sunday? He responded in style. 20 of 26 completions, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. He threw with purpose, timing, and aggression. Every read, every throw, every decision in the pocket looked confident. He wasn't flashy like Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, but he didn't need to be. He got the job done, and that's what matters. This was the Michael Penix Jr. Falcons fans have been waiting for. The guy who looked like a veteran, even in only his 7th start. One bad throw? Sure, that happened, and that's part of football. But everything else? Spectacular. He proved he belongs. He proved he can lead. And in his own words, I showed myself that I deserve to be here and that I belong. Yes, MPJ, you absolutely do. This isn't just a good game, it's a statement. The Falcons have a quarterback who can take control, a running game that dominates, and weapons at receiver that can break defenses apart. For the first time, it feels like this offense can actually do something exciting and dangerous. Falcons fans, I need to hear it. How confident are you in MPJ after this game? Is he the leader we've been waiting for? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's hear your full take. Falcons fans, I need to hear from you. How confident are you in this team right now? Do you think Bijan Robinson can carry this offense, or is predictability still holding us back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear every single opinion. Now let's get into the real reason this Falcons team suddenly feels different. And it's not just the offense, it's the defense. Last week, I told you straight up, the defense wasn't the problem against the Panthers. When your offense can't score, everyone ends up looking flat. The defense took the blame, but they didn't deserve it. And on Sunday, they came back with a chip on their shoulder. This time, they showed us what they can really do. They faced a backup quarterback, and for once, he looked exactly like a backup quarterback. No miracle game, no surprise breakout. The Falcons' defense locked him down. He went through his progressions. First read? Covered. Second read? Covered. By the time he looked for a third or fourth option, the Falcons' pass rush was already there, forcing him out of the pocket, making him throw the ball away or settle for a tiny check down. That's exactly how you're supposed to handle a game like this. And here's the beautiful part. When the Falcons get pressure on the quarterback, their secondary looks flat out dangerous. That's the formula. You can't have an elite secondary without a solid pass rush. It always goes hand in hand. I don't care who you are, Patrick Surtain, Jalen Ramsey, doesn't matter. If a QB has all day to throw, you're going to get beat. But give this Falcons defense a consistent rush, and suddenly, you see just how good this secondary really is. And make no mistake, this might be the most talented secondary Atlanta has had in nearly a decade. When A.J. Terrell comes back healthy, it's going to be terrifying for opposing quarterbacks. Bowman made some mistakes here and there, but still played a solid game. Jesse Bates is always steady, always reliable. Mike Hughes stepped up with some strong plays. And then, here's the exciting part, we've got the rookies. 2 young studs, Bowman and Xavier Watts. Now let me tell you about Watts. I've been saying this since the draft. Xavier Watts was the best safety in the entire class. A first-round talent who slipped only because of his position. Mark my words, by his 3rd season, he will be a top 3 safety in the NFL. He doesn't just shine in one area, he's good at everything. Smart, fast, physical, instinctive. And his interception in the end zone against Washington? That was a game-changer. He dragged his feet perfectly, secured the ball, and flipped the momentum. That's not just a highlight play, that's the kind of play that shifts the whole energy of a team. And let's not forget the pass rushers, Zach Harrison, Arnold Ebiketie, Jalen Walker. Their breakout games are coming. You can feel it. They're young, they're hungry, and when they put it all together alongside this secondary, this Falcons defense will no longer be promising, it will be elite. This game showed us something important. The Falcons' defense isn't just surviving anymore, they're starting to dominate. Falcons fans, do you think this defense can become one of the NFL's best? Or are they still a step away? Drop your take in the comments. I want to know how confident you are in this unit moving forward. That, right there, was the moment the Commanders lost the game. Think about it. Dan Quinn, the former Falcons head coach, and Marcus Mariota, the former Falcons quarterback, both standing on the other sideline. And what sealed their fate? A rookie safety, Xavier Woods, who had just limped off the field with an injury, comes back in, digs deep, and makes the play of the game. He snatched momentum out of their hands and gave it right back to Atlanta. That's the kind of play that breaks an opponent's spirit. But let's keep it real, this was not a perfect win. Nobody's saying the Falcons are all the way back. This wasn't domination, and it wasn't flawless. What it was, though, was a step forward. A big one. And with the bye week now here, this step could not have come at a better time. The bye gives Atlanta something every team desperately needs: time. Time to get healthy. Time to sharpen the structure. Time to lock in the identity of this team. And the most important lesson we take away from this game? The Falcons are going to be led by their defense. That's the foundation. The question now is simple. How does the offense rise up and complement what the defense is doing so well? Yes, we beat a backup quarterback without their top weapon. Yes, that's a game we should win. But guess what? We did win it. We executed. We stayed composed. And we got the result. That matters. That builds confidence. For me, my confidence level in this team has climbed. Last week I was at a 4. Now I'm sitting at about a 6.5. Not sky high, but enough to believe this team is starting to find its way. And this is just the beginning. If the defense continues to set the tone, and the offense starts matching that energy, this team is going to be dangerous down the stretch. Falcons fans, I want your take. Where's your confidence level right now? Are you at a 4, a 6, or maybe even higher? Drop your number in the comments, and let's see where Dirty Bird Nation stands heading into the bye week.